Good day, you are welcome to today's lesson. I am Asante Patrick Romado, and I'll be your facilitator for this lesson. In this lesson, we'll be talking about pseudo class selector. Pseudo class selector. Let's begin. So, this pseudo class selector. The selector is not that important. No. Pseudo class selector. My science students here, my biology students here, and even my inter-science students here, you can bear with me that the word pseudo is not a new word to us. When you hear the word pseudo, all what it is trying to convey is that whatever it precedes it becomes false or opposite of that. So pseudo class means a false class, or a class that in reality does not actually exist. In reality, it doesn't actually exist. So when we talk about pseudo class is a class that you didn't manually inserted inside of your HTML document. Somebody will say, oh yeah, I understand you. Let's say I didn't insert a class inside of what? My HTML document. Then why is the need here? Yes, this is the power of CSS that you need to get and understand for your own good. It is not always that you will need to insert a class in order to be able to apply styles to your HTML elements with classes. So let's take a proper definition for what a pseudo class is. So a pseudo class is a selector. A pseudo class selector is a selector that selects elements that are in specific state. They select elements that are in specific state. What are some of the states that these elements can be? They can be that the elements are the first element of their type. The first element of their type. For instance, let's say I have so many paragraph elements inside of my HTML document. The first paragraph element is the first element of its type. In this case, paragraph element, or the paragraph element that we might be having in our document. The paragraph element that I would be selecting in this case has assumed the state of being the first paragraph element that I did write in my HTML document. Okay, let's take it a bit further. Pseudo class selectors target some part or bit of your document that is in a certain state and let them behave as if you have added a class in your HTML file or your HTML document. So they target some part or bit of your HTML document and let this element behave as if that word is very, very important. Let me change this color. They behave as if you have really applied what? Classes to them in your HTML, which in reality is not so. In reality, it is not so. Okay, so as I said, pseudo means false, and we are going to try and use false classes, for classes that in reality we didn't create them, but because of the state that these elements might be assuming, they would be used, and we can apply elements or styles to them appropriately. Okay, so let's go a bit further and see how to use this powerful selector. Okay, so what are some of the examples? Maybe you might have an element and it must be the last child in its group. Let's say, for instance, I have okay, so we are in our HTML. Sorry, in HTML. Okay, we are inside of our HTML file now. Let's say we have what? Sorry. Let's say we have an ordered list. It will always start with what? A UL character opening tag. Then inside of that, let me use this guy. Okay. Inside of that, I will be having li element. Then it will close here. Forget about its content for now. Another li element. Then I'll close it here. Then maybe another li element. Then I will close it here. Then I will close my ul element. Okay, my ul element. Okay, now we have ul, we have li. The list items are 3 over here. Now an example can be the last child of what? Our ul element. Okay, the last child of our ul element, or the first child of our ul element, or the only child. Let's say if ul were to have just li element, just one list item, then it will be the only child of what? ul element. Let me be clear. We are saying that ul here is the parent of the li element inside of it. You get it? ul is the parent of these li elements. Okay, so we call the li element as children of what? Our ul element. We will go to the next type of selectors and you understand what I mean here better. But for now, we are assuming that li is the child of what? ul. You get it? Now, because li is the child of ul, even though there isn't any class applied to li over here, in our CSS, we would want our li to assume certain state. So let's say we would want to access the last what? Li element with its content over here. Let me clean this. It wasn't the best. Okay, with its content over here. So this last element, okay, maybe I should give a better understanding. Now, inside of our ul, let's say we have our ul element, right? Then we have li. The first li element maybe contains the content 1. Okay, then I'll close this li. Then for the sake of time, I wouldn't want to write too many. The next one is 2, then li. Then I come here and close my ul element. Okay, my ul element. So that's what we have here. Our first list item is what? 1. The next list item is what? 2. I'm not saying you should write only 1 or 2 there. You can give any name that you want your list items to have. If you are, let's say, planning to buy some things, let's say iPhone and this stuff, iPhone can be here, then maybe Mac OS can be here. You get it? It can be here. So please and please again, you take note of that. That's fine. Let's continue. How do I use these elements even though they don't have selectors? They don't have classes. They don't have classes applied to them directly by me. In this case, I'm the developer. Okay, if you are doing yours, you will be the developer, don't worry. So let's say I will want to apply it to maybe the last li. So in that case, I will use ul, which is the parent element here. Then I will give it a colon, a colon here. Then I will specify the last li element. I'll call it last child. Then from there on, I would be able to apply my declaration or pass my declaration to it. Okay, so that's it. That's how to call it. Maybe I would want the first li element. Maybe it is ul, then first what? Child. First child. Then my declaration goes in here. In that case, whatever I pass in this declaration will be applied to the first what? Li element. Then the last child is whatever I pass in there will be applied to the second li element inside of my ul element. Don't worry at all if you don't understand. When we start with the practical aspect of this, you will understand and understand better. You will understand and understand better. For now, we are just introducing you to it for you to have some idea about it, so that when we begin with our practical aspect of it, you wouldn't find yourself wanting. Okay, the next type of selector under pseudo class selector is what we call the user action selector. User action pseudo class selector. User action pseudo. Oh, no. Let me clean this guy. Okay, so let's go here. That's fine. We can now write user action let's move on. Pseudo class selector. Okay, we won't write a selector because of space. We don't have space. Okay, user action pseudo class selector. What is this? User action is, we know what a pseudo class is already, so we have another added phrase and we'll try to understand it better. So what is a user action? User action is just what the user does on our website. When our website loads, whatever the user does is the action the user is taking. So we can apply certain styles in accordance to what the user does on our website. So let's say if a user clicks on something, it is an action that the user is taking. If the user clicks on a button, it is an action that the user is taking. You get it? And in that case, In that case, we would be able to apply a certain style to a certain element that the user is now clicking. If the user hovers over an element, we can apply certain styles in the state that the element is taking, or is assuming that the user is what? Hovering, however you pronounce it, you are good to go. Is hovering over that element. You get it? So when the user hovers over an element, we would be able to apply a style to this action the user is taking. You get it? Then in a certain state, we would be also able to apply certain styles. We will be able to apply certain styles. Let's take example so that you understand what I mean better. So example, let's take example so that you understand me better. Let's go. So let's say I have this, my anchor element. I have href. This thing is not working as I want it to be. I have my href. Okay, then let's say I pass a value to it. Then I close it. Then I say maybe I give it a content go. Then I come here and close it. Okay, this is actually in its basic form a link that if the user clicks on go right now, it will take the user to somewhere. In this case, where it will take the user to will be specified inside what? Our href attribute here. But because we didn't pass any value to it, even if the user clicks, the user will still be there and be watching. Or it will take the user and the user will not get anything to view. The user wouldn't get anything to view. So that's basically that. But what is the need of this? As I said earlier on, in this case, if the user clicks on this, if the user clicks on go would come out to the user. Go is what the user will see. So if the user clicks on go right now, we would be able to apply certain styles per the action that the user is taking. So for instance, let's come here. No. Let's say the user A. So we have our element, which is A. The user hovers on our element. We can use that one alone and pass a declaration. If the user, let's say, clicks on our element, we would be able to pass certain declaration. If the user mounts over the anchor element, we would be able to apply certain declaration and it will be visible to the user. So this is what we call the user action pseudo class. The user action pseudo class. So these actions or these styles are applied when the user takes an action. For instance, the user mounts over an element, or the user clicks, let me see here, the user clicks on an element, or the user hovers over an element. The user hovers over an element. If you are not getting this, I will advise you take heart and be patient. But it is important you watch this video to the end. When we take the practical aspect, it will solidate. It will solidify your understanding well. It will help you understand it well. So that brings us to the end of this lesson. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like and share. Thank you for now. Until then, have a good day. Bye bye.